I don't know anything about FanTime except that you're on there and you make a bunch of money. What is FanTime? How is it different from OnlyFans? How does it work?
So FanTime is a subscription-based platform, basically where you can interact with your fans. You can, you message your fans, you can go live, you can have premium content, you can, just have access to like a, Instagram wall, but a little bit sexier than Instagram. So I I like FanTime when I first discovered it because I felt like it was a little bit more professional than OnlyFans, and it didn't really have the stigma, that OnlyFans
Sure.
has,
Sure.
which, it's whatever. I don't judge. I don't care, but what other people think in that sense. So, and I had to be careful, obviously, for, obvious reasons, and I'm very protective over my brand and whatnot. But when, they kept coming to me and asking if I wanted to do it, I kept putting it off, and then I didn't really want to do it at first because I didn't really feel that I would make the most without promoting it because, I did it for a little while without promoting it. Um,
How did you do that?
so I just had it in my bio, and I was, doing content, and I was chatting with my fans. It's just like another form. And like, how Instagram now has the subscription based thing that
Right.
everyone's
Right.
on. So it's like, whatever. But it's a similar thing because that's where the world is going, and social media in general.
Yeah.
So, and at first I saw that it was extremely lucrative, and they offered me like a kind of like a really good deal to like earn more money, right?
Yeah.
So I said, let's just do it. And then I was really happy that I did it because at first I was like, wow, this is like really good money that like, I could be setting up my retirement for and
Hell
everything else
yeah. Hell yeah.
after wrestling. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's there, it's really fun. It's cool. Like I said, I would never do anything that would really harness my brand. I know things got out, and I know, people screenshotting stuff and whatnot, but, um, that kind of comes along with the territory, right?
Sure.
You know what you signed
Sure.
up for. So,
Yeah. So when did the rumblings kind of start of anybody at WWE being like, wait, what's happening? Because I'm sure they must have brought it to your attention maybe at one point or another. Did they or did they not?
so no one brought it to my attention besides the night before I lost the title,
Really?
which was just saying, and it was from my lawyer, and it was just saying, take this link down. I responded
Your
back to my
lawyer sent that?
from yeah, and it came from WWE,
Okay.
it came from legal. So
Okay.
it was just saying to take the link down. So I complied, obviously. It came from work. That's my first job in that sense. And I complied. Took the link down right away that night. And then the next day was when I lost the title and got fired
Right.
the following day. So I never had a warning. I know there's, obviously a lot of news out there that says I was warned. I never did. And I think,
Yeah.
I don't know, it might be different if I did have a warning or if there was a conversation, obviously, because I'm not gonna like, yeah, whatever the case may
Sure.
be,
Sure.
but it could have been different for
Well,
sure.
it's interesting though, because I mean, like you saying, like that was your first job. That was number one, fan time being number two. But when you look at like the monetary side of things and you really putting together your own business, it really could have just, I mean, it did just become an easy swap for that to become number one. But was that something you would have ever thought about initially? Like while you were, I mean, we'll get into your run at NXT because it was incredible. The things that you did. And
Thank you.
honestly, just you blow my mind. Like even just like prepping for this interview, thinking of like when we first saw you at Tough Enough, like
Oh,
to who you became and like what you were able to accomplish in honestly like a relatively short amount of time. Like it's crazy. Um
thank you.
Anyway, we'll get into that. But just in terms of like, yes, that was your career. That's what you were focusing on. But now with that, you get this other notoriety. And now this other thing is kind of calling to you and becoming this really crazy lucrative business. Like just to make that swap to go, okay, well, what one do I really want to put all my focus and attention on to? Do you think it's something you would have kind of arrived on your own had the circumstance not been this way?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it did become, when it comes to financially and, you know, kind of some life-changing money for my future, it did become my number one at that point. And I was like, whoa, not that I would have chose one over the other. It was just financially wise, like that's
Yeah,
what it did become. But and in the amount of time, you know, like obviously you can make a lot of money in wrestling. We all know that, and it's a great
sure.
platform, but you know, it's over time and you're doing a lot of damage to your body and you're putting a lot of hours in. So for the amount of money that I made in this short period of time, I was like, wow, like this is insane. Um, but yeah, I think for the future, and all of us girls always talk about it too, and we make jokes about it. You know, like oh, after wrestling, like whatever, we'll just go on only like we joke around, not, but it's really not a joke because like you really can make a great living off of this. But
Yeah,
yeah, but I just think that I always talked about it after wrestling, like oh, it could maybe something. It was never like a I'm definitely gonna do that. Like I know it would be lucrative for me, but it wasn't
yeah,
really thought about too much. Obviously, I was focusing on my other brands too, with my skincare line and Demandys and
yeah.
all these other things and what I want to do after wrestling. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't have scripted a better way to go out, though, I must
Here I go.
say.
I'm like, it's really funny because I do feel like there often can be that stigma, or it's kind of planted in our heads of like, well, see how you make it on the other side of this, like, see how things are going to turn out for you. So I do feel like you kind of went out with like, blaze of glory, middle fingers up, cash everywhere. It really
Yeah, pretty
worked out
much.
beautifully for you, and like you said, I mean, I know your relationship with everyone there is great, and it's like an unfortunate circumstance how it goes. So, I mean, I just heard Shawn Michaels talking about the situation too, and he's like, "Shit, sucks that it
Yeah,
happened that way," but
it did. Yeah.
here we are, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No,
but
it did, and it was and like I said, I did have a really good relationship, and everything that I put into the last year and a half, and
yes,
and just the camaraderie and all the like friends that I miss being and like it was really emotional for me that night after the
yeah,
when I lost the title. Like I I never expect, and I mean, I know I came a long way and I know I give myself a lot of credit, but like the standing ovation and like the thank you Mandy chants and everything, like, and it was, you know, it was in
yeah,
NXT, but like still it was like very like I had to sit there and was like, whoa, like I never thought that I would get this in a sense.
yeah,
Just because of everything that I've been through and what I've you know, went through. But yeah, it was crazy. And I you know, when I like was hugging Sean and a couple other people after the match, it was just like very emotional because I just like I had this bad feeling too that I was like, this is the end, you know, which is
yeah,
it was bittersweet too because there's always going to be an end for all of us, right? But
sure,
the
yep.
way it happened.